Culture is the #1 critical success factor when you're putting two companies together after a merger and acquisition. And that's really consistent with the survey work that Bain has done, and also consistent with anecdotal conversations that I have with CEOs that have done a big deal in the past. There are two challenges, though, when changing culture in the context of a big merger. The first is that there's never any synergy value. There's never any hard dollar value associated with culture. And in a world where so much is defined by what has a lot of dollar value associated with it, culture change often falls to the bottom of people's to-do list on a daily basis. The bigger problem, though, is that CEOs don't actually know how to mission their people to change, to inflect the cultures as two companies come together. It's this sort of amorphous and nebulous kind of right-brained thing, and so they literally don't know what to do. It's really important to be clear with a leadership team about what culture actually is, and we tend to think about culture as being the purpose, the set of values and the behaviors that are shared by a group of people that define how things get done in that organization. And there's certainly a lot of things that can influence those. The strategy of the organization can influence the purpose, values, and behaviors, how the organization is structured, rewards and incentive systems, for example, but it's important to be clear about what it is. In order to change the culture as two companies are merging, we think of a few steps as being critical. The first is for the CEO to explicitly decide what the culture change agenda is. It's not predetermined, it's not predestined. It's a CEO's obligation to determine whether the objective is to blend the cultures of the two organizations, or perhaps it's to maintain and continue to preserve and foster the culture of the organization that's been acquired or is being merged with. The second thing to do is to actually diagnose what the differences are. That involves a scaled survey. It involves certainly management interviews and focus groups. It also may involve direct observation of people in their jobs. You can imagine doing a ride-along with two distinct sales forces and looking to see how behaviors get manifested in their conversations, in their work with customers. The third thing to do then is to actually explicitly define what the future culture ought to be. What is the new set of shared purpose, values, and behaviors that you want to manifest in the organization? And the fourth step then is actually the most challenging, and that is actually activating the new culture and embedding it in the systems in the organization. Certainly that includes having a lot of really robust communication and role modeling of behaviors and values among the leadership team. The more challenging piece, though, is actually embedding it into the systems that will make those behaviors and values easier to manifest across the entire organization. So that is, changing how people are rewarded and incentivized, changing decisions about who gets promoted and who gets hired, reshaping the performance management rubric. And those are things that take time, take IT investment, frankly, take just a lot of perseverance. It's a really long game over multiple years.